I recently finished the book Climbing Parnassus. It's all about classical education and how the ancients, up to about 150 years ago, used to educate their citizens. They were concerned about cultivating good, virtuous, noble, articulate people. And as the book says, what could be more useful to the city than a virtuous citizen? Hi, welcome back. My name is Andrea, and I am a homeschool mom, and we do the classical method of education. More specifically, we have a Charlotte Mason approach to things. And today, I'm not really going to talk about stuff that we do necessarily. I wanted to talk about something that I actually think is very important, because even though I'm a homeschool mom, I still care about the kids in our community, just the whole school system in general, because it's a large part just of our society. And so I think that it's important as homeschool parents that we still stay engaged on what's going on. And I do think that we might have some changes coming our way with this new administration on how maybe education is funded. It might have a large effect on homeschooling. I kind of wanted to share with you because I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but for the longest time, for way too long, I didn't really know the difference between what's a charter school and what's just a private school. I always kind of assumed that the charter school was not at all related to the public school. You know, people are trying to flee the public school to get into these charter schools. But I was like, okay, well, why is that? So in this video, we are going to be defining the terms. What is the difference between a charter school and a private school? And just the pros and cons between the two different types of schools, charter versus private. Charter schools are publicly funded, but they operate independently from the public school system. They're usually referred to as a hybrid between a public school and a private school, because while they function from taxpayer money, they have a lot more freedom in how they operate, who they can hire or fire, and also the type of curriculum that they can teach from. The charter part of the name of charter school, that's referring to the agreement that they make with either the state or a district, a local body, whatever. They make an agreement with them about, we're going to start this school. This is how we would like it to be funded. This is how much we need. This is what we're going to teach. This is how many students that we could serve. All these things. They outline their mission for the school, any goals, and also how they're going to measure success. And so then if all of that is approved and the school continues to meet its goals and can show that it's being successful, it can continue to operate. It can get shut down if the governing body is saying like, hey, your students aren't doing so great, we're just going to shut you down. You'll hear charter schools mentioned a lot when it comes to the school choice movement. You know, that whole movement is wanting to provide as many alternatives as possible to the public education system, which typically I'm all for. I'm a little bit more sticky on the situation of funding because I think that anytime that a private institution or a private family takes public money, you're now now you have to basically do what they say. So I think that that's a real tricky situation. I know a lot of people can get super excited about getting money, but I think that you need to watch out for that. So supporters of charter schools really value how they can be a lot more innovative than a public school. Many charter schools will focus on things like just college readiness or technical training. They could also have extended hours or different types of hours that could meet the needs of the community. Or, you know, they just offer a whole different approach to teaching in general. In most states, anybody like teachers, a parent, nonprofit organization, even sometimes businesses can apply to open and operate a charter school. As far as their financial accountability, they function based off of taxpayer money. So it does make sense that they would be subject to kind of a governing body like a state or a city in order to continue functioning because they're taking public funds in order to operate. It's also important to note that since they take public funds, they cannot provide any religious instruction. So that's why if a church has a school attached to it, it's always going to be a private school. It's really not going to be a charter school. They cannot provide religious instruction since it's publicly funded. Why you see a lot of people trying to get into charter schools is because it's also free to attend. Since public money is used to operate the school, there's really no tuition to go, unlike a private school. Charter schools will typically have an application process, and many of them use a lottery system to admit students when there's more demand than space in the school. Okay, so now let's look at private schools. Unlike charter schools, private schools are funded by tuition payments, donations, endowments, which allows them complete independence in terms of curriculum, policies, and admissions, who can get into the school. Private schools may focus on religious education. They will focus on specific teaching methods like Montessori or classical, and tuition costs can vary all over the place. I've seen full-time private schools to be as little as $3,000 a year, depending on what area you're in. And, I have lived in the DC area where like the cheapest option was around $10,000 a year, but they operate off of tuition. So versus a charter school, it's free to go to. Private schools, obviously, there's going to be a tuition. Now, on accessibility, charter schools are open to anybody to get into. As long as there's space, then you can go there. If there's not enough space and there's more demand for more kids to go there than they have space for, there will be some kind of a lottery system in order to attend. Private schools can be selective on who they allow in. You could say, well, you have to be a Christian to go to our school, or you have to meet these academic requirements in order to get in. It's totally up to them since they're completely independent. If you found this video useful, if you wouldn't mind, please giving it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, or if you think that people should know something else about this topic that I did not include. Just please leave it in the comments below to be a good resource for others watching this video. So I appreciate you so much, and I will see you in the next video. How many letters are in the Latin alphabet?
25.
So
Yes.
we need V, X, because we skipped this letter.
So do you guys already know the entire Latin alphabet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Because-
because it's the English one without the W.
Mm-hmm. But Mom,
What?
that's weird, because now if you were gonna say something in line with a W, you couldn't say it.
Well, we'll figure that out.